referendum to allow the voters of San Francisco to decide whether or not to install plastic grass and floodlights at the Park Chalet soccer fields in Golden Gate Park. Why or why not? And I'm going to add a little kind of follow-up in there. What things would you do to increase families with young children to stay in District 5 rather than follow the trend of flight outside of San Francisco? We're going to go with Daniel Everett.
What?
Are you starting with me? Or
oh, no, I'm sorry, Daniel Everett.
Oh, a lot of people get us confused. I'm really glad you brought that up, because a lot of people don't know, and it came out in local press recently, that San Francisco has one of the lowest rates of families in the country. Lowest rates of families in the country. Now anyone could see that just walking down the street in general. I mean, there is a real dearth of young children in the city. And it's really a part of a greater issue, and that greater issue is the price it takes to live in San Francisco. You can't raise a family in San Francisco if the rent's too high. You can't raise a family in San Francisco if there's no legitimate grocery stores near your house, and the only thing near your house are the overpriced convenience stores that just drain your money as a low-income person living in this city. It's a whole host of issues that, like I said previously, are nickel and diming honest and good people out of the city. And we are stronger when we are a more diverse city. And by diversity, I mean that word takes on a lot of different connotations. Ethnic diversity, economic diversity, and certainly the diversity that it takes to raise a family here within the city. So certainly I would be very much in favor of strengthening that type of diversity. We're a stronger city if we do so. As far as the soccer field, it's a tough issue, but generally speaking, I would like that issue to remain in the hands of the local residents, and that I would like to see it resolved in a way that's beneficial to everyone without necessarily putting something on the ballot. It's a run-on sentence, I assure you.
I'm Hope Johnson. I do not think that we should cover up natural grass with artificial plastic. It was ridiculous. And the city, on the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force, I saw every excuse that the city can possibly give you. They say the kids are going to sprain their ankles and break their legs in the ground. How much could it cost to fix those things in the ground? Here's the reason why I don't support them. Number one, because that will leach a lot of toxins when it runs off, when the rain runs off into it. Number two, the lights that are going up are bad for the environment and the birds. And number three, it's soccer fields for kids where the food does not disintegrate. And they're saying, oh, just don't bring any food or drink on it. Yeah, that's going to happen. And you're going to see that that's coming up. So they should not have the soccer fields be anything other than just regular grass. The other thing is, and I would support it on the ballot if that is the only way to do it, which it looks like it might be. And maybe we should start on that. That's a great idea. So the other thing is that if you want to keep families in San Francisco, you have to be legitimate about housing. It cannot be teeny tiny 220 square foot housing. Again, you have to have the developers build it. For example, these people talking about 55 Laguna and the LGBT housing, it is not funded. Make the developers fund that first. Fund family housing first. Thank you.
I am opposed to synthetic fuels. I wrote an article, if you want to look it up, in 2009 in the Fog City Journal and was active in opposing the synthetic fuel that was put in at Kimball Park in the Western Addition in our district. Unfortunately, we lost that battle. Now Beach Chalet and other parks are going this direction, and I would support a ballot measure I think this is a symptom of a sign of everything that's wrong at the Rec and Park Department right now. The Rec and Park Department is a complete mess. There are privatization and commercialization schemes. Rec directors are being fired so park rangers can be hired, and then community people are forced to hire the park ranger for their event, and the cost becomes prohibitive to even hold the event. I think we need to reform the Rec and Park Department completely. It's completely on the wrong track. So I just want to say that. Family flight from San Francisco, this has been studied repeatedly as a cause of three things, okay? High cost of living, cost of housing, public education, and safety on Muni and safety in the streets. If we want families to remain in San Francisco, we need to build affordable family housing, and I also want to look into a sort of local Section 8 program rental subsidy that we could dedicate to certain categories like young families who are starting out here, or students or seniors on fixed income, or artists, and actually subsidize rent. Public education system in San Francisco, that's another thing we need to improve. We lost money when after Prop 13 for our local schools. We need to look at ways that we can replace that money locally and at the state level. Locally have some ideas. You know, the commercial property owners have been on a tax holiday since the Reagan era. A local commercial rent tax is something I want to consider for that. I'll cede my time. Thanks.
Hi everybody, London Breed. One of my friends called me and said, absolutely not. You can't support the beach chalet soccer fields. They're putting in these lights and that's the place that I go to make out. So he was just really adamant about that. I hear that these lights are absolutely incredibly bright and will definitely change the character of the area. I too oppose the field at Kimball, primarily because I knew that it eventually could lead to privatization. And as a result, I've been called by the San Francisco Seahawks, who have been practicing on that field since I was a kid, and now are not getting the amount of practice space that they need in order to practice, and also the cheerleaders who are now using the African American Art and Culture Complex. And something is wrong when the Park and Recs Department makes a commitment to a group of young people who have challenges already in the community with crime and violence, and the places where they've grown up playing and where I've watched my friends grow up playing is now becoming a place where people are using it who can afford to use it. And I have a real problem with that, just in general, with the San Francisco Parks Department.